Hello, this is Ryan Beatrick, and I am proposing the Little League Baseball Softball field at Dick Clayburgh Park on behalf of Clayburgh County's Parks and Recreation. Um, I would like to start off by saying that the purpose of this is to bring a Little League sized baseball softball field complex, the combo complex, with concession stand and additional parking to the underutilized Dick Clayburgh Park. So far right now, there are baseball fields, softball fields there, but the park is in a sense of it's kind of in a state of degradation, and so it's being underutilized right now. Let's start out with some stats on Kingsville, Texas, and Clayburgh County in general. Clayburgh County has a population of 32,101 people reported in 2013. Kingsville accounts for 26,312 of that. That's why we are proposing to put the baseball softball field in Kingsville. That I think that would be the most utilized position, the area for that park in question. And that's because Kingsville has a total of 11 schools, 6 elementary, 2 middle schools, and 3 high schools. This park would mostly utilize the elementary and beginnings of middle school. The Little League is cut off at a certain age, but those would be the schools that we would be focusing on, which in total is 8 schools. So that's quite a few kids that could be utilizing this facility that we are planning on building. The only other baseball softball option in the city of Kingsville and Clayburgh County is the Boys and Girls Club of Kingsville. But the city has shown interest in a centralized complex for the city, and so that's why we are stepping in and trying to build it. Dick Clayburgh Park, let's get some stats on that. It's a 14-acre part of land that we're wanting to put the facility on. The park is, I would say, about 80% empty, and so it's actually very, very little foot traffic right now. So I think putting that there would greatly increase the foot traffic of the park, as well as the having kids join the program. The demographic of Clayburgh County is 83.3% white, 4.7% African American, 2.8% Asian, and 6% Native American. Hispanics make up 72.4% of that population. And overall, 35.6% of all households in Clayburgh County have children under the age of 18, at least one of those children under the age. Past participation in the Boys and Girls Club, baseball, softball leagues that we have found, on average have 14 teams with 5 age brackets, so 14 teams per age bracket for baseball and softball. Each team would include about 11 children, which would bring a conservative number on our part to 750 children involved in the league in total. However, in the last 5 years, participation in the Boys and Girls Club baseball and softball leagues is declining. The total number of children has gone down from that 750 that I brought up earlier to 550 this current year, so that in 2 years it dropped down 200 children, and we predict if this trend continues, which we see it doing, the league will fall down to about 225 children, so a little over a third of the children will be left in the next 10 years, and that's pretty sad. We've talked to individual community members about why they think that this could be happening or possible causes for this, and honestly, what the main concern that these parents had was that degradation of the park that I was talking about earlier. The fields are hardly upkept, and the fences are falling apart. The stands are very small, and they're starting to fall apart. The wood's breaking. They even said that some of the stands on some of the fields are not usable at all. They've been quarantined off because they are hazardous. So that's that's a big concern that the parents have had. If we want to look at the money, Boys and Girls Club currently has a $50 registration fee. Um, and with those 750 children that we talked about earlier, that brings in almost um, $10,000 a year on registration fees with those kids. Um, and so we projected with that loss in those children, they're going to lose somewhere close to $26,000 in the next 10 years in registration fees because of a lack of students or lack of children. Um, what's causing the degradation? It's mainly a lack of funding towards this park. It's a lack because the park is run by the city of Kingsville, and so they don't keep it up as well as the Boys and Girls Club would like to. But the Boys and Girls Club doesn't have the money to be keeping up with those fields, and they don't have the ability to because it is owned by the city of Kingsville. Um, so the implications of this data is that we really want to put in this new stadium. It's going to bring in a lot of kids. It will actually, what we're hoping, will bring in a Little League sanctioned league into the city of Kingsville, which will bring in many kids. Also, with the size of the facility that we're planning on building and the quality of the facility that we're planning on building, it could be the South Texas hub for the Little League system. As the system works now, at the beginning stages of the tournaments, they're held in small county-wide tournaments, and then they step up into areas of the state of Texas that split up, and then those champions meet up in one location in Texas and then play for the state championship, which then they go on and play in the Little League World Series, which we see on TV all the time. Right now, South Texas does not have a high quality stadium facility for these children to play in, and that alone would be a large tournament coming in that would bring in a lot of money and people into the city of Kingsville. And I think that's one of the bigger things that we need to focus on with this facility is the financial aspect. And the Little League tournaments isn't the only thing that we could do with this facility. I know that only happens once a year, but there are select leagues that play year-round that we could host tournaments at this facility, charge fees, charge people to come and watch the tournaments, all of that stuff. And we could actually make, I think, a pretty good income with this facility, as well as, regardless of baseball, softball, we could be able to host events at this place. If with the quality of facility that we're planning on building, we could host all sorts of events, marathons, running events, also concerts, anything. We could make we could have a lot of activities going on at this facility. Right now in the park, they do have 6 fields there, but we plan on leveling 3 of them and turning them into a parking lot. And then where the fields are now that we plan on putting, there is nothing currently there besides field. So that would be the most cost-effective area so that we would not have to level those fields before continuing with construction. We could just build straight on flat land. Now I know what you're thinking. How are we going to pay for this? Clayburgh County, in collaboration with Kingsville Parks and Rec, this will be a collaboration between the two of their things, will be in control of funding and building this program. We have already gotten together with them and they are okay with that plan. We plan on a 5-year process from beginning right now until funding, and then 5 years down the road we should have the facility built and up and running. How we plan on paying for this, we are currently in the running to get a grant from the state that would pay for a large portion. And then our secondary funding plan strategy would be to sell advertisements at the facility on the back fences of the fields, as well as on the concession stands and walls and scoreboards, all of that stuff. Have local businesses such as HEB, things like that, big corporations as well as small family places, as much as they can to donate and give them advertisement, and then that would also be used. Lastly, if we can't come together with all of it there, we plan on having the entrance walkway of the facility being lined with bricks, and we would have those able to be purchased from families, and they would charge a small price and be able to put their name engraved on it and put into this thing. And that's how we plan on paying for it. The money will go into a singular fund that will be held in the city of Kingsville. They will hold the fund. This fund will be used to pay for the building of the building, as well as after the facility is built, this is where the money will go for upkeep, as well as revenue from the facility will go into this account, and that account will be used to pay employees for upkeep and equipment and materials needed. So lastly, what I want to finish on is, like I said, this place it's falling apart. Nobody wants to go to this park anymore. There's nothing really there to begin with, and what is there is falling apart. The Boys and Girls Club program, it's going strong right now, but it is starting to show signs of falling apart as well. And the city of Kingsville wants to give the kids of the area opportunities, and the best opportunities they can have. So that's why we want to bring in the Little League facility, bring in a Little League sanctioned facility, and then a league, and then have that be just revitalize the community in this area. So that is what this County of Claiborne Parks and Rec would like to do, and I really think that if we follow through with this program that I have outlined here, I think that we're going to be seeing a bright future for Kingsville as well as Claiborne County. Thank you.